Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Out of This World. We have a great show for you today. We finally got Donut of the Donut Factory. Woohoo! Longtime fan of yours, and you're a longtime fan of ours. And this is our first collab. I hope the first one of many because I've got games, I've got cash prizes, all
Awesome.
of it. So today we're going to be talking about what do I call this? Attack of the Facelords. So I was reading some comments and somebody was talking about all of the alt media, no, let's say all of the media personalities, right? And how they're just talking heads, talking faces, and they called them face lords. And I thought that's the perfect, funny, like description of all of these people. And they fight each other, and all we do is watch their drama, and then we click up. And at the same time, my priest asked me to give a presentation in a couple months at our church about ancient mystery cults.
Oh, wow.
And as I was studying all of these mystery cult stuff, I was like, this is the same thing that's happening today. Like, it applies in so many ways that this is like literally media idolatry, if that makes any sense. You just pick your favorite like luchador personality and you watch them go beat up the other person, and then you feel like you've accomplished something. And what people don't realize is they're being indoctrinated deeper and deeper into these ideologies that they don't really even know about because the face lords or the people that you see on stage uh, are controlled by clandestine forces. Would you agree with that, Donut? You're
Oh,
wicked
wow.
smart, you know.
Wait, I want my journey to get wicked spot, and your channel has been, crucial for the growth of my wicked smartness and the parasocial relationship that people have with the faces, because a lot of them we're scrolling, and it's like an ancient scroll, right? Like you're reading a text and
Good point.
and we feel like it's a FaceTime that we're having this bond with this person that doesn't even know us. And it's quite interesting. Everything that you said was right on point. Yeah, I agree.
And I just realized how easy it is to be indoctrinated into these ideas. And I even made up a game because I had to bring out the whiteboard, okay? Because this is what I've noticed. This is how you get indoctrinated into cults. And at the end, we're going to talk about that TikTok cult, that TikTok dance cult that you sent me.
Yes.
That was so crazy. But I'm like, so how do, people who can like pay their bills and feed themselves end up becoming indoctrinated into these crazy ways of thinking, right? And I was like, part of this is woke because joining these mystery cults, the verbiage that they talk about after you become initiated is you have been awakened, you have
Mhm.
been illumined, now the blind can see, now the sleeper has arisen, that kind of stuff. So if we apply that to now, like the woke that's going on all sides of this stuff, it's like cults can attract you in because here's the formula, right? They say people like me, which is your identity. Fill in the blank. Okay, I'm a white woman, a black man, a Latino grandma, a gay man, American. Okay, whatever your identity is, people like me can't blank. Right? Here's like the other part of the equation. They can't what? Whatever they want to do. They can't buy a house. They can't get a job. They can't whatever, talk to girls, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's the identity, there's the goal, and then the obstacle. People like me can't do what we want because of blank, because of
Right.
Jews, because of Jesuits, because of whoever you want to fill in the blank, right? And this is how these cults get you on the right and the left. So now that you have bought into this formula that the presenter, oh, and here's one thing I wanted to say about face lords and presenters is they're always like, don't shoot the messenger. And I'm like, no, I will shoot the messenger because what are you trying to sell me? Because anybody who's bringing you problems is probably going to be like bringing you solutions to follow up to that, right? The Hegelian trick.
Absolutely.
And so why are you telling me these problems if you have no solutions or you just have ulterior motives, right? So messenger is
And
already sus in
yeah,
my book.
and Dr. Richard Spence, who wrote that Crowley spy book, uh, I got to interview him, and one of the big takeaways was that the difference between disinformation and misinformation is we're human, we're gonna make a mistake, and disinformation is where they omit a certain aspect of something that's important and lead you to a vote or an action. And so that was huge to really spot out the different face lords and their agenda. What are they not bringing up that is kind of crucial to bring up?
Hmm.
And what kind of action are they leading me into? If that's a vote or even not taking a vote, it's still an action. So there's that really has supported me to figure out, sort of who's the clandestine pulling the strings of the different people we see online because we think it's all just like organic, but when you're a content creator, like when I interviewed Jay, I had to bring up all this wicked spot stuff and I practiced like the questions and I didn't know what I was talking about. So I was like, Dostoevsky did this. I kind of understood, but like I practiced it so I could get the right question for the audience. And as a content creator, I could see the same thing that there's a lot of script reading to these big channels and platforms. And what you wrote down on that board, it's like total victim mentality as well of the can't. I always was told that don't say can't, say won't, because
Hmm.
won't empowers you. Like, I won't make it tonight, but when you're like, I can't, then it's like I'm a victim. So that's interesting how they play on that like consciousness of victimhood.
Yeah, and boomers say can't, never could, right? And those are colloquialisms. But so it's usually a charismatic personality bringing out specific talking points that are suspect because then you look at the other people who are bringing out the exact same talking points and they have this little club and I know they're up to something. I know it. I'm not going to say names, but it's like when you hear the same things over and over, you kind of get, okay, they're working because let's just put a pin on it. Lowering the age of consent and things like that. Okay, so on the list of things that demons want you to do, I would say number three is butt stuff, number two is diddle kids, number one is unalive yourself. And then they have total victory.
Why
But
is it such a big push? It's crazy.
but so like diddling kids, that's number two, and they are trying to push for the consent of minors for lower and lower and lower. And so when you see people posting things like 16-year-olds are hotter than 26-year-olds, or just the hotness of children is immediately your suspect to me.
Right.
Let's
And
get
it's
back to
such
the
a
formula. Okay.
yeah, such a strange that thing that's being pushed like aggressively. That's so crazy.
Yeah. So the the charismatic personality is going to offer you this formula and they're going to give you an enemy to pin all of your woes on, this scapegoat, right? So I made a game and we can play it if you want to. I think this is the first
Yes.
time. It's called Woke Grievance Generator. Okay. Okay. And we are going to put these in the matrix. So I wish you could pull these out of the hat, but you're just going to have to laugh along with me because you're going to see how absurd it is to scapegoat all of your problems onto one people group or organization. So the first category is your identity, right? Dark purple. So here we have who are we and what can't we do because of who? Oh, okay. Here's one. Women of color. What can't women of color do? These are equality woke. They can't become educated. Why? And I'm just randomly taking these out, right? And if I hit on one that makes sense, that's gonna even illustrate my point that these are ridiculous. Women of color can't become educated because of white men,
Oh wow,
right?
how wild that was the order that was chosen.
That's freaking random. I've got 30 of these. Should we keep going?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
all.
What are we looking for? My identity is men. Okay. Men.
Yes.
What is the obstacle or what is the men's goal that they can't? These are like glued together. Men can't buy a house.
Oh, no, we can't.
No, why can't they buy a house? Because of boomers.
It's exactly right. Yeah, it's damn boomers.
Oh, we've
That's
hit on another grievance, right? Should we keep going? These
yeah.
are completely random. My identity is conservatives. Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. Conservatives, what is the thing that the conservatives really want to do, but they just can't do it? Conservatives can't talk to girls. Why? Why do you think of any of all of these?
Liberals. That's why.
Conservatives can't talk to girls because of the Jews.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you not letting these conservative guys back on women? Jews, why are you doing this?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, I mean, should we keep going? Are these making sense? Or like, is the
That's
point?
so funny.
Okay, one more, and then we'll like maybe play a little in a little bit. Okay, so, oh no, the LGBTQ, what do they want that they can't have? Hmm. They cannot be monogamous
Hmm.
because why? Uh-oh. The liberals?
It's
I
a
don't know.
paradox.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a paradox. I don't know. Okay, so, but you can see like what I'm trying to say.
And it makes it so much simpler, like knowing I can go to bed because this meme has told me why my life sucks. And I can go to bed now and I don't have to research or listen to Wicked Smart podcast. And it's not as scary knowing like what's really going on with there's just so much information. Mhm.
Hmm. So, yeah,
Great game. Thank
we'll,
you. That
we'll
was
play a
awesome.
little bit more because I've got like 10 of these. And it's funny because they all kind of make sense. I mean, the last one was a little silly, but you can see that it's just a thing that you program into the formula. And now you have a willing victim or a cult member all ready to sign up for your course, for your class, for your memberships. I'm not saying content creators don't deserve, their money, but you can see how silly it gets when it turns into a lifestyle, an ideology, a praxeology. Um, just it becomes your whole personality, right?
And the whole us versus them. And we see this like huge where they're NPCs or we're the chosen ones, we're the awakened ones.
Yep.
There's so much lingo of like we are the awakened, woke, and they're in the matrix and
Mhm.
they're asleep. So we just see these terms used, and it's a strategy used going all the way back to the ancient mystery cults. So it's very funny. And the ancient mystery cults, they were really like people wanted to join them during times of collapse, during times of plague, during these difficult times. And that's sort of what we've been through since 2020, because I feel like just somebody so interested in this type of information, it was very niche, right? It wasn't very viral mainstream. And now it's super mainstream, but it feels just so fabricated right after 2020. So I feel like everything is sort of kind of moving along in an agenda.
Hmm. And it's interesting to watch. as a content creator that was there at the creation of YouTube, at the beginning of Google, I mean, my email address is my name with no numbers or letters or spaces or that's like how early we had Gmail and stuff like that. And to watch people fall for the same things over and over and over and over again is just really disheartening. And the only thing you can do is laugh, um, and try to, keep making your little podcast because if people aren't backed by huge monies, they're not gonna get to the level of Face Lord, right? I don't I don't think I made it to Face Lord. I don't think Jay has. I don't this is a whole other class of media that we're talking about,
Yes, yes.
right? And the parasocial relationship was so poignant that you said because now you feel like you have your cult leader in your pocket. So in classic cults, you have to go through stages to get access to the leader, right? But now you can just have them on your device at all times. Like you'd have to like be in the priestcraft, you'd have to serve, uh, and you'd have to like give them massages. Like I'll get into that with that TikTok guy, but that seems to be a thing, supplicating. So the ancient mystery cults usually were about what they call votive religion, which was sacrificing to get favors or to keep them from hurting you, right? And that just
Right.
made me think of like, that's kind of like super chats that you're constantly
Yeah.
giving votive adoration to these creators. What do you think?
hmm Yeah, no, incredible. Yeah, no, we're like the slides too, like we're like totally on like the same page and the parasocial thing. And also I've been making YouTube videos like before YouTube existed, but as somebody who would go get hired as a job. And so like I feel like I'm very qualified to talk crap about these different cults and the different agendas that are at play. And that doesn't mean that every content creator or every leader is bad. But there is a parallel of like this double-edged sword where it's there's just so many parallels, like this the super chats and the challenges are
Yeah.
like initiation
Mm-hmm.
where everybody worldwide does challenges and dumps their head in water. Like that's like very ritualistic. The different poses that they do of ancient gods, but people think that they're just doing a pose. But it's like, yo, no, this goes back to like ancient times.
And even some of the content creators will use hand signs and gestures, occult hand signs, this one, this one, like, we all know the classic these, but when you see, your favorite like independent media person going like this the whole time, you're kind of like, what are they doing? Sus.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And they're digital initiations.
yeah.
So they're being initiated digitally and also having them in their phone is this 24-hour drip of control, which kind of goes into the it's called and I'll get into it in a slide, but it's like an institution where there's this different relationship between in the psych ward with the psychiatrist and the patients, and we would be the patients. And what is this like relationship, this parasocial relationship that people have? And if you bring up that, hey, maybe you're in a cult kind of thing, the cognitive dissonance and the defensiveness of protecting their leader, and it's like, why are you protecting this leader that you don't know? Like, and we're actual like human to human friends, and they'll still go out of their way because of the cognitive dissonance
Oh,
of like new information.
they'll pledge their life. They'll say, I will kill for you on, and they'll put the code in their social media so that this other person is so serious about their cult leader that they will kill for them. So I know you are a classic conspiracy guy, and that's kind of the wheelhouse that I'm used to. So I remember that in Morals and Dogma, Albert and Pike talked a lot about mystery schools, and he was actually of the he was persuaded that the Masons and what they do is the continuation and the power behind all of these structures. And Bill Cooper would actually agree with that. So would the Bavarian Illuminati say that they are a conglomeration of the old mysteries like Apollo, Isis, Osiris, Dionysus, Pythagoras, Orpheus, Bacchic? Um, so those are the main ones, and I have like notes of all those if you guys want to talk about the different mystery schools. But I wanted to know if you want to do a sequel with me just about Dionysus, because that one got crazy, and I don't want to bring it up if we can't like really get into
For
it because
sure, for sure.
that one was cuckoo bananas.
And also like the Illuminati, the awakened, going
Mhm.
back to the woke and the secret teachings. This is kind of what I was really looking at was the Manly P. Hall and just like how important those different goddesses were that you were bringing up, Demeter. And this one, Persephone, I didn't like realize how important Persephone
Yeah.
was to these ancient cults. But it's simple because it's in all these books, the different worship where it's going back to.
So you're talking about the Elusinian mysteries, and this one, I mean, anybody who says mystery school, this is might be what they're talking about, just because it was so popular in Greece, but it wasn't widespread only because they had a central place of worship. So what they would do is, I mean, this is where world as a stage comes from. The Dramenon, I think is what how you pronounce it. It was the play acted at the climax of this like 10-day long festival hike where they went from Athens to the temple in Eleusis, and the sacred play would be enacted, and at the very end, you would be shown a piece of wheat that stood for Demeter, and scholars are not really like crystal clear. And if anybody out there knows exactly what they were shown at the end, it was a vision of the afterlife, basically, or a beatific vision. I have what I have going here is like you said, secret teachings, ancient mystery cults. This one, Walter Burkett. I have Western mysticism and esotericism. I have mystery cults in the ancient world. I haven't started this one yet. And I have this weird one, Strange Sex and Curious Cults by Marcus Bach.
Nice.
So these are the what I'm gonna do my talk on. I haven't gone through all of them, and I haven't got to exactly what the vision of heaven was in the Eleusinian mysteries. But basically, yeah, it was the play of Hades stealing Persephone and taking her to the underworld for 6 months, and her mother goes on the journey to bring her back. She realizes she can't fully bring her back because she had eaten something in the underworld, and so she's allowed to live above ground for 6 months, and she has to live with her husband Hades for 6 months.
Hmm.
And this is the cycle of nature, like spring and winter, right?
Yes.
So this particular mystery school, this was like the height of the Athenian Empire. It was about like 400 to 500 BC. It was open to men, women, free, slaves, young, old, Greeks, non-Greeks, if you could afford it. So that is the big part. And this book talks a lot about how the mystery cults are set uh, over Christianity and the different contrast between them, because I know you know that classic zeitgeist
I got it
conspiracy.
pulled up too on the slide too, the
You did?
zeitgeist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to your slides real quick. Um, but so
Oh,
zeitgeist, what
take your time. Take your time because I'm learning right now.
it had these things that would lead you to believe that Jesus was just a recycled tale of Mithras or Horus or Zoroaster or those kind of sun gods or Apollo, right? But this book is all about how no, cults were very different from Christianity. One was they were not interested in evangelizing. Most of them were very culty, and they wanted rich people. They wanted noble people, they wanted influential people, attractive people. They didn't want the riffraff like the Christians did. So when Christianity was taking over, it was saying, yeah, we want to take care of the poor, we want to take care of the orphans, we want to have these social things in hospitals, universities. These are all from Christendom, right? Not from mystery cults and paganism.
Right.
So where was I going that? Oh, Elusinian. So yeah, so if you're rich enough, you could join this prestigious mystery school and you get like a 10, 11-day party every year where you march and you take drugs was a big part of this.
Mhm. Yes, and that's the wheat that they show. And I think the vision was when they took the wheat, the argot or whatever they called it. There's a bunch of different types of tripping out. And so I sort of draw that parallel too with the influencers. They want you all on these mind-altering uh, chemicals, but I don't think that they're just mind altering. I believe they're belief changing chemicals that trans like changes their autonomic nervous system, their belief system of what they were raised to believe. But even Adam Weishaupt, the image of him, or even the emblem of the Illuminati, there's like this wheat like above him as well. And I think that it's sort of the LSD kind of Eleusinian mystery cocktail of this mind-altering chemicals and whatnot. And that is maybe big part of what they saw.
Yeah. So they're all tripping on like Burning Man vibes,
Yes,
right? So
Burning
it's a
Man.
10
Yeah,
day, it's basically, Burning Man could be a techno-pagan festival if you want to call it that. It's
it
very much like
is.
that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
that's
you
what find all the people to like be the CEOs for the different big corporations is at Burning Man when they're tripping, and then they're like, "This is the one. This is the guy." Like,
Mhm. He's
and
one of us. Yeah.
these are big decisions too, because that's a sort of a leaderboard of like these really big DARPA type companies that are social media and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And they identify with each other. This one has seen the light, this one has seen the light, just like the ancient mystery schools. They were, it's the word where we get television, tele something. I'll find it.
Yeah, the programming.
Yeah. So, yes, they have seen the light, they've been programmed. As long as they, bring their sacrifices, as long as they're pay piggies, they
And
are
think about
invited.
the sacrifice of time. This is like that 24-hour drip, having the phone in the pocket all day, going live at this time, 24-hour streams,
Oh, good
and
point.
it's 20 email list, like email so we're constantly focused for like the new initiates on this medium of the cell phone, which is like it's so new, this technology, but like these plans go all the way back on how to control the masses, with the leader and the follower to manage them to where they want them to go. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
So, yeah, they would give them their cocktail, like you said, and they would trip out. And instead of today, instead of bringing piglets to sacrifice, like you said, it's your time. And everybody knows by now, and me and Ruckus did a 3-hour show about that, how social media is addicting and it is hijacking your brain and it is a drug. Like it's an ethanogenic experience because the dopamine and everything, the rage baiting, I mean, that's all
Oh,
the rage. And watching drama, okay? So the dramenon, or however you say that in Greek, part of these mystery cults is the play that you watch first and then the next year you're an actor in it.
oh wow.
And so all of these dramas that we're watching unfold in alt media, they can be real, they can be fake. It doesn't matter because it turns into real money and real attention and real influence. And
And what like that Nick Land dude talked about with the hyperstition
mhm,
as well, where like turning these like memes into reality too,
mhm.
probably is a big part of it all as well with the meme magic.
Yeah,
But it is addicting. It's so super addicting. Like I've been sober for 10 years, so I know all about addiction, like and I'm so addicted to the phone, like right when I wake up, it's like it's what I want, it's what I need. And the oversaturation is like representing nature in a lot of ways, something that like we had to work for to go like walk up like on a hike to see like a bunch of like skies and blues.
Yeah,
Did that like on the phone that if you turn it black and white, it's like you don't even want to use the phone anymore because so there's just some, and that's in this book, Secret Teachings of All Ages, like the different colors are symbolic, that they have meaning to it. And but the rage bait, the emotions, like we get addicted
yeah.
to emotions. And one of the biggest things that I know I'm being manipulated is that I post something and I want to see the likes,
Oh,
and
yes.
it won't show me the likes unless I refresh it. It gives me like 2 seconds, then it'll update the likes. That's not because it's broken. That's a gambling technique to keep you coming back. So it's so wild. Yes.
It's really insidious, and I know exactly what's happening to me and what I'm doing, but I can't like I used to be able to read half a book in a day, and now I can't like go a chapter without checking the X again or who. And um
There was an
oh,
interesting article about IQ points dropping when email came out. This is like a
mm,
2004 article.
hmm.
The IQ, and this was before like notifications and social media, that just checking your email dropped the IQ like 10 points or something like that. Yeah.
Oh man. I just saw a thing about how chronic lying is making everybody stupider and hurting their brain. So I don't know.
Lying. What's
Yeah.
that?
I don't know. I'll have to pull it up and send it to you later, but I was just like things that are shrinking your brain.
Mm.
So, social media, just the internet in general, corn, lying, just not being virtuous altogether is shrinking your frontal cortex where you need that to like make decisions based on your conscience. So,
Right. Yes. Yes. And that's what the rage bait is all about, is the amygdala hijack. So when you're in like scared survival fear mode, the amygdala like gets taken over. It removes you from the prefrontal cortex of decision making and being rational. And then it's like, oh my goodness, the doomsday cult is like a huge one online.
oh yeah.
And but then you're in this like scared thing, but then you're also like, I'm the awakened one. I know the doomsday's here kind of as well. But then you're easy to like be like, okay, buy this like course, and then like you'll know all
Buy
the
this
secrets.
50-gallon drum of pinto beans because the end of the world is coming, right?
And I got them all. Cause I got the pinto beans, like
Oh,
so.
oh, we got pinto beans. Don't worry. We got 'em. Yeah.
But I understand like be the content creator is so much different than the being the consumer as
Yeah.
well.
Good
Just to see,
point.
yeah.
And if you work backstage, you quickly realize and learn how to clock people, as they say. The kids say now, clock actors, people who operate in bad faith, people who are, lying. Like, so I've been backstage my whole life, so nobody really impresses me in that way anymore. But you kind of get a feel of like who is a genuine person and who is acting. So here.
And when the people are lead lying, like that's only going to bring bad to them spiritually. Like the honesty factor
Mhm.
is like super spiritual
So
principle.
speaking of rage bait, let's get mad. Let's get some anger going because what am I? I'm Gen Z
Uh-oh.
and I am being deprived of what? I cannot get married.
That's yeah.
Gen Z cannot get married. Why do you think they can't get married?
I think
Uh,
it's because
White women,
oh
of course. All
yes.
white women want to do is kill their BABIES, according to some people. All they care about is a bobos, and so Gen Z cannot get married because white women are taking that away from them.
The poor Gen Z.
I know.
They're like, we hear about this fatigue, all over the place, right? Which kind of falls into the same kind of like victim, like fatigue kind of thing. But I think what it is what you were bringing up with all the different dopamine stuff with the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Just and the food too, like stepping away from a lot of the stuff, being able to read a full book is so hard. Like just reading a chapter, like why is this so hard to just concentrate for a minute? I think that's playing a big role in that too. But now I'm a victim. Now I'm blaming the cell phone for all my problems.
Oh yeah, I'm a content creator and I can't have time because of the cell phone. No. Okay. All right. You're a white man, right? Is that what you would say?
That's what society would say, yes.
Okay. You
I
identify as a white man and you are being deprived of starting a business.
yes,
Why do you think no one's letting you start a business of your own?
those damn
What?
technocrats.
Technocrats? Oh, MAGA.
Oh no.
MAGA won't let you start a business. Damn, MAGA, why do you hate donut? That's not fair.
Well, it's weird because I went to this like conservative event that I
Uh-huh.
was invited to,
Uh-huh.
and I was like super excited. I mean, all the top players were there. Not one of them knew who I was, and nobody wanted to talk to me because I don't dress like I'm conservative. So like they just already, but when I was there, none of them have those values like at all, like the way that they, because I've been around, I'm in Arizona, so it's very conservative.
Mhm.
Well, it's 50-50, but it's just interesting. I took a test on recently, my friend sent me where are you like a liberal or neo-reactionary or a conservative, or, and all the different sides. And I took it and I was like right in the middle. And I
Mhm.
was like, that's awesome because I I like to like live life like in serenity and not so up like radical up and down, which I used to be like. And so yeah.
Well, our church would say that that's what we aim to do is they call it the Royal Road. It is non-radical. It's not extremist. It's very normal. I wouldn't say normie, but just, normal and have temperance to life's problems instead of being a radical reactionary cult member type, right?
Hmm.
I would say when you're navigating all of these new personalities that are trying to influence you, you need to do two things. You need to get a book on cults, any one of these. You need to get a book on narcissism, okay? Because these
Oh
two
yes.
things go hand in hand, right? If you don't want to get sucked into a cult, you need to learn about these charismatic personalities that they give to you.
Yes. I'm so like uh, in my slide, I showed the narcissism book.
Yeah.
It's so important to understand what that is and whatnot.
hmm So let's get your slides. What did I put on here? I was just gonna say we could go over this real quick because I found a lot of parallels from the
Yeah.
cults in here with the alt media. And so the Orthodox, when they're talking about mysteries, they actually have a line in a prayer that we say before we take communion. I will not speak of thy mysteries to thine enemies.
All right, well, that's
Because the communion used to be a closed off, private thing that only people who are baptized could witness. Because pagans at the time would infiltrate and run up and try and take the Eucharist or take the bread because they thought it was magical, right? So they,
interesting.
yeah, they had to protect that. Now you can stay and watch until the end. There's nothing hidden, but so the term mysteries is also kind of a Christian thing. It's more of the way we think of mystery is something that you can't know, but the way that Orthodox would explain it is something that you know but you can't explain very well. Like it's just something that you know, like like sex. You know, you can't explain every single detail of every single like thing, but you know you've had it and you know it, right?
The mystery of just like, why are we here? What's my purpose? There's just, and that's what I really like, the mystery and stuff to life. It's like uh, God things that happen that you're like, there's no way this could have happened unless there was like a hidden hand of God, like doing stuff. I
Hmm.
really like that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Carrying it throughout my day too, you know. Like what are the is it somebody says, is it odd or is it God? You know, and I always got
Yeah,
that.
I like that. And I like the synchronicities too. I like just uh
Yes.
the faith that coincidences are, God's way of like working things in your favor too. So
And my favorite one is God's rejections are God's protections. So like when something doesn't work out, people get so like mad because it's like their will instead of like God's will. And
hmm.
then this is like good wisdom, which doesn't mean you just don't do anything with the action. Faith without works is dead. And like taking the action, but knowing the wisdom of like, I don't gotta control everything,
Mm.
giving that to God. And then there's like wisdom and serenity to like go throughout life and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Having control and relinquishing control or having, you know, communing with God about what decisions you make is a big part of salvation, really. We don't assert our wills, we are under God's wills. And that's the contrast to like Western magic, right?
And so the Oracle, which would be the podcaster where people go for the answers, which is
Hmm.
now talking to like the AI, is the Oracle like where they would go to get the answers? Like the Oracle of Delphi, Apollo would speak to Delphi and then give the people the answers. So like
Yeah.
the podcasters are the Oracle.
Exactly. Exactly spot on. And these cults were religions of salvation. So people actually thought that this was what would carry them into having a good afterlife, really. And so you've got Isis, you've got Mater Magna, which is a very fascinating cult. Not a lot of people talk about the Mother Earth goddess because her priesthood they were called the Gala or the Galloy, and they would castrate themselves. And
Hmm.
so it gets really interesting when you're talking about like the Trans
Hmm.
subject and the priest of the Mother Goddess and the what's her name? Inanna, Ishtar, her priestcraft, they would say they can change men into women and women into men in these mystery
Yes.
cults, right?
That's the most fascinating thing that I've like found in this research is the castration cults. And the symbolism can go just so much more than just like the males like castrating themselves or like where it's like super extreme. But it could like be symbolic of think about the population collapse and people aren't Gen Z does not date anymore. Like I think it's like 80% or something. Like there's like a celibacy thing.
Yeah, they
Not to
can't get married because of white women, right?
those
You
white
better
women,
get your passport, bro, and get over to Eastern Europe and get.
those white women.
Yeah.
But like that's sort of like in a sense the AI could be like castrating people so they don't want to have um relationships. And there's all these different studies too with like the rats, the Calhoun, I think it's called, experiment, where they just had an abundance of everything for these rats. And then they just stopped like breeding and stopped doing stuff because, and like think about with like social media, the abundance of people that you can meet, but then there's this huge loneliness epidemic, which I think is a huge psychological role for a lot of these face lords to be like, okay, like these people want somewhere to belong. That's why they're lonely. So we'll give them like a movement And so I think this is all like there's more than just like one, two things. There's like a lot of like things at play. And now it's like next level with algorithms and AI too. Because I think that that will be the next influencer. I think like right now we're seeing the influencers, but it'll move to uh like a data influencer AI.
Yeah, algorithms will absolutely become the next funnel to make giant conglomerations because what they want, well, what me and Courtney were talking about, they want people insulated in their own like city state, in their own ideologically sealed vacuum, right? Where all the furries live in one place and all the Christians live in another place.
Yeah.
Seriously, and they're controlled by tech lords or like technocratic kings.
Uh-huh. Yeah, the digital silos. So that's like the institution, the total institution was the word I wanted to use.
Mhm.
Whereas there's this relationship between the psych ward and the patient. And so like when we go onto an app, the application, which would be like the temple, and then they're just putting us into digital silos, like these digital ghettos that people talk about. And so it's like we're not getting information. We're like it's like so easily controlled. If I go on Twitter, it's going to control my emotions, and it's awful.
They even call it the cathedral,
Oh yeah,
right?
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So so that book, I was only reading The Secret Teachings. I was listening to, I don't know which one that you recommended. I was listening to it. Um, as well. The I don't Mystery Cults in the Ancient World. That one.
this
So
one, Hugh Bowden.
yeah, that one is very difficult for me at least. It
Uh-huh.
was
I haven't
so
started this one yet. We'll see if it's complicated. But hold up this one again, because this is like the biggest compendium that I know of what we're talking about. You have that one too, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Smile for a thumbnail.
it's super simple. Like I need simplicity because
Mhm.
I'm on my Wicked Smart journey.
Let's see
And
who
he
wrote
wrote
it.
it when he was 27. Like he didn't have ChatGPT. He wrote this whole dang book at 27. And then I was listening to this guy talk about him,
Uh-huh.
and he thinks that he was like taken out at the end of his life by his caretakers, but not for like some sort of like sacrifice thing, but it was more a financial thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he was bankrolled by some rich people so that he could start his philosophical research society in Los Angeles. So what we're talking about is Manly P. Hall. And how did he come to find all of the secret teachings and write so many books and become probably uh, the most ubiquitous esoteric writer? He had a really interesting life. He was a mystic extraordinaire, right? Uh, I have actually been to that philosophical research library in Los Angeles, and here's a weird conspiracy like anecdote. Manly P. Hall left his library to Jordan, what was
or
it?
Maxwell.
Jordan Maxwell. And it included all these rare esoteric books, including a triangular book of Saint Germain of only there are three made in the whole world. He had one of them because, triangle three. And he left all of that to Jordan Maxwell, and Jordan Maxwell was too poor to house the this library because he was just a conspiracy guy. So I don't know what ended up happening to the library because he was going to move in with us because we had the space, but that like fell through. This was 15 years ago. Um, but that's just a weird, anecdote too. We almost had our hands on all of those esoteric books, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, I
Burnt
guess.
down in a storage. Oh,
Yeah, that's what I heard. It like burnt down, and poor guy. He was always financially hurting.
yeah. That's that's what you used to get being a content creator of conspiracy theories is nothing. Right now it's big monies and big attentions.
Yes, as long as you're microdosing and talk about aliens, big money involved into it.
Yep.
I think that's kind of the play right now.
Well, another weird thing about the face lords and influencers is, and this can be tied to the Bacchic Dionysus mysteries, is the orgia. Okay, so why every other day we're getting tea on who slept with who and who is not a trad wife and who is not conservative and who is actually homosexual and not what they say they are. And I found this 50-point article about a certain influencer that's getting really big, and all of their scandals throughout the years. And I'm like eating these one a day because it's just like too much, too many. You know what I mean? It's like literally days of our lives of alt media and who has slept with who and who has cheated with this person and this person works with these trafficker. And it's insane.
And drama, it's fun to watch these dramas. I just don't want to be part of it because I sometimes people try to bring me into the drama and I don't
Yeah.
like that. But when other people are draming, it's very exciting to see like, oh, what's gonna happen, you
I
know?
I love it when the drama's between two people I can't stand. I'm like, yeah, keep going.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
funny.
I'm the winner there.
And I
So,
mean, how many of these dramas are fabricated? There's
yes.
that book, The Laws of Power. And it's interesting because this all ties into narcissism, like will to power, everything's power, the power of now, spirituality power, or Tony Robbins, unlimited power. Everything's about power because that's like what narcissists are after is power, and that's it. I think that the laws of power, the 48 laws, which I think is a good book, but it just kind of why are these bestsellers? It's sort of that. And one of the things it talked about was to fabricate beef or drama because you get a cross-pollinate both audiences.
Mm, that is fascinating because I feel like that book is a book for psychos, honestly.
It is. I
And
used to read it.
yeah,
It was psychotic.
I can't be bothered to try and manipulate people. It's like, isn't your life hard enough? Like I just struggle like doing all the things that I need to do, my chores and errands and like hygiene. I don't like try and make up giant dramas to embroil people. But anyways, so a cult has to have a charismatic leader, your drama queen, right? Drama alert. You have to have, and usually in back in the ancient times they were a single person and they were a traveling person. So, like a traveling mystic, they had no roots, they had no family, they were probably a little schizophrenic, but they were the gods, like most devoted worshiper, and then cults would form around this charismatic disciple.
Like Michael Scott.
Yes, exactly.
But he's a good leader. But he's single, and then he had his followers.
Right. Well, yeah, Michael Scott, he was looking for a family and like to settle down and stuff like that. But these would be more like your rogue John the Baptist type or somebody who's like running around naked, being crazy, cutting themselves, castrating themselves. But then these things would also be embedded into the government of the time, especially like in Roman times. The Galoi priests actually had space in the Palatine Senate. So you have your charismatic leader. The second thing you need is the clergy of the sanctuary or the clique followers, like the generals, right? You have the people that are surrounding the charismatic leader, and then you have the rest of the followers. And any face lord has this formula, right?
Right. Right. And it's just like it works. And also not just like the face lords like doing this may be, it could be just natural or when you think of like Henry Kissinger's like studying, different philosophical teachings, like Spangler as well, like talked about just people want to follow
Kitty.
the one leader. This is the kitty cat.
Who's Kitty?
That's Chan.
Who?
Chan.
Chan. 4chan. 5chan.
Poor Chan. Jackie
8chan.
Chan. I gave him Jackie Chan name.
Kitty Chan. I like him. Cute.
He's got great genes.
Aw. Culty Kitty.
Yeah, he would be like the cult leader of my YouTube channel for
Huh.
sure.
Yeah. Cult of Bast, right?
He the well, it's the T Gandhi got me under the mind control, and then sends me the messages.
Yeah, you are infected.
Yes.
Um, so you brought up the oracle, and that's a good word because these charismatic leaders, these supernatural seers, yeah, they were oracles, and if they did have a partner, if they were married, it was way in the background. They don't talk about them, so it's really hard to make a cult on a couple for some reason. It has to be a singular man or woman. Have you noticed that?
Think I know why.
Why?
Because like it always leaves the people like, oh, maybe I can be with this person, that parasocial bonding of,
Mm.
oh, maybe I could, I think that's could be at play, maybe.
Definitely. Yeah. Because part of that is you have to see yourself with that person intimately. I think if you're going to be some kind of worshiper, then the fantasies are just going to be part of that naturally. I think you're right about that. So these weirdos, these charismatic leaders, I mean, it could be Charles Manson.
He's the biggest like expose of Charles Manson because it's so like relevant.
Yeah. And you're thinking, who in their right mind would just drop everything and follow this person? But you're all are doing it online every single day and you're sending them money.
And what are the top podcasts? Like I was looking up who are the top podcasters. It's all true crime, morbid crime, 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 crime. Like people love Charles Manson. Like that's the thing. He gets letters in the prisons, uh, that's what people like. People want, and at least the mainstream masses. Like,
Mhm.
yeah.
And we could even be talking about, crazy preachers like TV preachers, carnival preachers, send me your money because cults need the money, right? That's what are they going to do without it? They can't run on nothing. So the members are encouraged to outdo each other in generosity, um, and sell their kitties for the cult. No, just kidding.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. This kitty cat is so cool.
And so this book was even talking about the architectural evidence of all of the donations to Bacchus. So this was a huge thing. Even back in the day, you would get your little plaque or your little like brick or inscription or whatever if you donated huge sums of money to your local cult. They also use secret symbols.
Oh, that's my favorite topic is the
Yeah.
symbols.
Well,
Yes.
is this a good time to bring up your slides? I think we should
Oh,
like.
totally. I'll bring it up. And it's just a lot of what we're already saying. I just like to symbolically kind of show for the right hemisphere of the brain, the images, that's sort of whoops, my thing. Um, So like this slide that I have up is the total institution, which I thought was important to bring up, but I called it the total digital institution. A digital silo is an algorithm where subscribers are cut off from reality into a network of influencers for a significant time, which is sort of that digital silo that we were talking about earlier. And then I was just showing just images of the book where this word total institution came from,
Mhm.
asylums with that relationship. And then just showing some cool AI.
Diets, yeah, that's a big part of it. So you can definitely build a cult around a diet. Like a Liver King is one of those people. These crazy vegan people, like the lady who just died of eating bananas. Uh,
Yeah, and it's like you're controlling the person by giving them these rituals or sacrifices. You're going to sacrifice eating this thing or
Mhm.
um, this workout routine or the clothing, the lingo, the beliefs, the habits. It's all the same thing as what they do in a mental institution, sort of.
Good point. So the diets, rituals, beliefs, lingo, ha and yeah, and they're even taking over. I mean, not that fitness is a bad thing or having a fitness teacher is a bad thing, but like making them your guru of your life and setting your entire daily routine on something that they prescribe to you is pretty dangerous. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. And so that's why I wanted to kind of, even though these aren't mystery cults, but like these are like the cults of today
Yeah.
and the technology that is using of like why do people fall into these mystery cults? And here's another slide of just showing the clandestine character you're talking about
Hmm.
pulling the strings of the puppet person, but the normal guy, this guy looks pretty cool, doesn't know like what is the script being written, who is the scribe, right? The subscribe, the script writer for the channel.
Yeah. You've got Senior Dark Lord up there pulling the
Yes.
puppet strings, and you're like, no, my favorite influencer loves me.
Yes, and that's that
Mr.
pair.
Beast wants to give me money.
I got a picture of him pulled up, and this is sort of
Oh, this is perfect. Okay, so this is
okay.
Plato's cave. And I've said this like a million times. Like, you guys are literally living in Plato's cave on your phone. Like, it can't even be any more gobsmackingly apparent that you don't see reality. You see shadows on this box. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I'm reading Plato with Courtney Turner right now, so that's been a lot of fun learning about it. But yeah, I wanted to show this. I know everyone, a lot of people show it, but it is so important because it is like that cave. They're um, in this thing, and then I just showed
Oh,
like
yeah.
this.
Can you go back 1 second?
Yes,
So you've got your priestess or your priest with the phones on their head, and that's the shadow that is projected, and that's what the guy thinks is reality. And this is really apt because these people kind of look like Egyptians with thrones on their head who would be like worshippers of Isis. So that was really interesting.
that I'm happy you pointed that out because I took this graphic off of a psychology kind of website and the three, because you had the three women arrested
Hmm.
with Charles Manson.
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
and then I was looking at, uh, I read this thing on Freemasonry in the summer solstice, and it brought up the cult of culture, the cult of and Namu or something
Hmm.
was like the leader, and then he had three women, and I feel like that could be symbolic as well, which I'll show here in a minute. And let me know if we're running out of time, and I will just bam, 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 bam,
Oh, that's
bam.
okay. Scrolls of Doom. I agree with this 100%.
Yeah, well, I grew up at going to temple, and so I always heard about like the Torah scrolls and
Uh-huh.
the Dead Sea Scrolls, and I'm like, we're scrolling like a scroll, and I was like, oh my goodness, I never even thought about that, and like this deep meditation that we're being fed, and everybody's algorithm is different, so
Yep.
everybody, it's like curated to each person.
Yep.
Uh, here's the
Funneling you into a cult.
here's the Persephone myth.
Okay.
My friend, this is going to be a little like I'm not saying this is orchestrated. My friend, this is how I learned about Persephone because he was all like, uh, this creature would be released out of the underworld in spring, and then he
Mhm.
was, and I was like, oh, okay, there's something there. I'm not saying that this is like the story written, but the parallels of the importance of the Persephone myth where this girl goes down into the underworld and then gets released in springtime, and like that sort of thing happened. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up because this is super important in these ancient mystery cults: Demeter, Isis, Persephone, Eleusis, and these stories of the death and rebirth, the Haram Abiff. Um, and I just kind of just wanted to show the importance of when you're bringing that up, like it's in like every single book, they bring up these same gods and goddesses stories.
Hmm.
And then like on a micro macrocosm, I'm thinking of the mainstream media, like has been fake news and demolished. And so there was like this death, and now there's like this rebirth of these like alternative voices. But
Good point.
I just kind of getting schizo with it,
No,
but
that's why I bring you because you make such the good points. Is like that's the perfect way to put it.
thank you. And then the platforms being coming to temples,
Yep.
sort of. I just thought that was a cool slide. And then just to bring some, smart stuff, wicked smart stuff, uh, Oswald Spengler, which I'm not wicked smart. I'm on my journey. But here's a quote from him about how people, I guess it's better if I just read it. It's a long quote, but at the end he says, "Then finally, wary, reluctant, cold, it loses its desire to be, and as in imperial Rome, wishes itself out of the overlong daylight and back in the darkness of proto-mysticism in the womb of the mother in the grave." He's just kind of saying how at the end of like decline of society, people
Hmm.
will go into these like proto-mysticism.
Hmm.
And he understood, just like the elites do, as Henry Kissinger would like study his works, that the elites know that most people will follow. So I had a little follow button there. Uh,
Exactly. Follow, submit, all of these terms that you have to push. Your consent given is a magical spell, in my opinion. What do you think about like you have to submit all the time? And even that reminds me of what's that movie that John Carpenter knew? They Live, where they put the glasses on and everything says obey, follow, submit. Oh, right?
and like the Hoffman lenses was what he was wearing, they called it. And that's from the Hoffman guy that
Hmm.
was like making the LSD for like the MK Ultra stuff, I think. And so these influencers are the high priests, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And this is something that I pointed out a while ago, like that I think that Terrence Howard, who's this famous movie actor, he's playing like this archetype, wearing this white robe when he went on to Rogan. And then I was just showing how like all like different religious stuff, like wear a white robe.
What does Terrence Howard talk about?
He's like talking about like
Oh, the
spirituality.
actor. Yeah.
Yeah, so like he's like the new influencer with this like forbidden type of knowledge of the secrets that he's gonna let everybody know about. Um, and just like what are the outfits they're wearing? Because in the secret teachings, it goes into like the Druids wore
Hmm.
the robes of white. So it's not like I'm just like, oh, he's wearing a white robe. It's like, well, just kind of, that. But here's another quote, which is weird because ChatGPT sent me this, and I didn't know who Michael Foucault was, and I didn't know he was so controversial, like on the left, like he was like a super leftist. And I'm like, why is the AI feeding me this guy, which I don't know anything about, but I thought this term governmentality was good, is the conduct of conduct,
Hmm.
where people don't need somebody like telling them what to do. Like they're going to just do what the powers that be want them to do.
Hmm.
And so the influencers are influencing us to conduct ourselves in a certain way. So I kind of wanted to bring that up. And
They
these.
Well, I mean, they'll tell you everything you need to do. Like, I'm sick to death of being told all kinds of ways to be as a woman by dumb face lords. It's like, just shut up already. Let people live their life. Like, there's certain advices you can give that applies to all people, but you can't tell all married people to do X or all women to do Y or all men to do. It's just insane because there's so many different. That's why everyone has a different spiritual father because you can't get the same prescription.
And it's all about power and control and narcissism of wanting to control and play God. Like that's what like I believe a lot of like these influencers who want the clout and the narcissistic supply. That's in all this as well. And then these are our digital friends.
It's
Uh,
totally, totally. I feel like the Friends were my friends in the 90s. Did you watch that when you were young? I mean, I
yes,
like The Office,
The Office.
they were my friends. Like you
Yeah,
could,
Trailer Park Boys. It's
yeah,
Always Sunny. The
yeah.
Office. South Park, like they're all like my friends, Beavis and Butthead. Yeah. And
Hmm.
so I was kind of I wrote this, I made these images like in 2019. But also people want to follow. So even that they seem like, oh, we're fighting the system, we're punk rockers, but every punk rocker wears the same plaid
Right.
shorts, or every fitness person does the same pose in the mirror. Like, what is going on with like it's like the same, like
It's a spell.
it is a spell. And
Yeah.
then I brought this one up just on the cognitive dissonance, no new friends, that if you just kind of bring up information on any of these extremes of just saying like, hey, are you in a cult? Like what this guy's done. He's
Uh-huh.
like, look at his history. Like, and then it's like, no, 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 this guy is perfect. He is perfect in every way. And it's just like, whoa, whoa. Why are people so, it kind of shows like that they're already like been in this parasocial relationship.
I'm glad you brought that up because cults of antiquity, they weren't really bothered by evangelicalism and evangelizing and getting a bunch of people in unless you had money or something else that they wanted. So they were very, there's the in group and the out group. So you have to identify like who is with you and if they're not with you, and now when it comes to influencers, they're against you. So if you're not explicitly in this club of this person, you hate babies and you want America to die. Like it's just crazy. So they
Yeah.
they would withhold the revelation. So here's another part of it and how they keep on like holding this carrot on a stick. If you just join my super secret inner circle for $50 a month or for this crypto or whatever, then I will give you the revelation. And so in this way, a cult wouldn't really coalesce into a universal church just because they were so particular about who they let in and they were very secretive about what was going on. And in Christianity is kind of like in contrast to that. Again, in this book, it's a just scholastic book. It's not like biased in any way. I don't think the person's a Christian. I think they're just a historian, but they're saying that mystery cults is very different from the way that a Christian would view the world. So they were also engaged in political action. So now that you've got your parasocial relationship, you've got they're your pater, your father or your brother or your commander. I don't even know what these people call themselves. They
No,
can,
they're their daddy. They call him their daddy or stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's straight from Mithras. I don't know whose fans call them daddy, but and I don't want to know. Um, but so if you're going back to Mithras,
Oh, really? That's where it comes from?
yeah, so this was a extreme patriarchal fraternity. Women were excluded. Mithras was one of these ones that they thought that Jesus was based on, but that has been debunked like so many times. But so in his cult, secrecy was absolute. This was mainly for Roman soldiers and merchants. So you want these super soldiers to be not concerned with family. Mithras stood for like men's clubs in opposition to family life. So if you want a legionnaire, if you want a centurion, if you want a good, Roman soldier, he would probably be in the cult of Mithras and eschewing any type of normal love life or anything like that, just so he could devote himself to war. But they were,
Yeah.
yeah, worshippers of masculinity and fraternity and patriarchy. And what did you just say that I said that came from Mythos? You said, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, sorry. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
Yeah, and they have the different initiation, and this was just a parasocial. This is my favorite slide, just because I went to film school and I learned about like the importance of the dots in the eyeballs
oh,
that humanizes, and then like the ring light in the eyeball, like kind of is like funny. And then just the Stanford prison experiment with the sunglasses, which y'all did a great episode on that I've watched multiple times too, on the Cohen the Barbarian cults.
oh yeah.
Sunglasses, yeah. Um, it's a military tactic, but then I thought about Hanson, just because of when I was a kid, every girl had Hanson posters everywhere, so they were like in a relationship with
Yeah.
with the Hanson. And then you got guys like, this could be a teal swan or something. Whereas like there's
Perfect
this relationship,
example.
and she has a cult too,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and then
Perfect
I'm
example. Let's talk about Teal
yes,
Swan for a second because she's crazy. And I actually, when she first like came onto the scene, this was maybe like 2014-ish. And she was talking about SRA and mind control and the usual things that we talked about back then. And I was like, oh, interesting. Do you want to come on our show? And she wrote me back and she said, absolutely not, because you're anti-Semitic and you're terrible and just a whole bunch of like insults and slurs. And I was like, what are you even talking about? And she had gone and found like some picture we took of like it was like a six-pointed star with like a little gargoyle coming out of it. I don't even remember
uh-huh.
where the picture was. And he used it for something. And she's like, that's how you're anti-Semitic. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
That's
But
good. Yeah. Well, hey, I'm Jewish and I podcast with people like it doesn't like who cares? Like if anything, yeah, it's ridiculous. She's like the perfect example of this parasocial cult, and she's not Jewish. So well maybe she is. I don't know. I don't think so. Um but I remember watching her back in this 2014 time when I was learning about you, Jay, just David, just everybody. Like it was just another time.
mhm,
Alex, he was like crushing it on YouTube at that time. And like as like a young man, I like could like I developed like these parasocial bonds where you're looking at them,
mhm.
and like it's like you're having this like relationship that's not even real. And then the Ralph Smart was there too, and there's so much like weird stuff going on, especially like looking back at that time, like the 2012 time, the
Yeah.
internet. Yeah, that's weird. She's weird.
Well, and Teal Swan, she figured out real
Yeah.
fast that you probably should not recommend unaliving yourself to your members because that takes them down. I mean, she got in trouble, not in trouble, but she had to like pull back on that because she said that, unaliving yourself is an okay thing to do if you are in a lot of emotional pain. And so many of her followers actually took that advice and did that. And so she kind of had to be like, well, I'm losing followers if I tell them to KIL themselves. So that was kind of crazy.
And it's like a doomsday kind of cult,
Mhm.
right? You got all the
Yeah.
different cults that's what they want to do to ascend. like have Heaven's Gate and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's like
People like me, crazy people, can't ascend because of gleep glorps, right? Or serious not aligning. It's just the craziest stuff you can get into.
well,
Like Applewhite and all those people, like what we're talking about is not that far away from a what would you call that? A doomsday cult. Yeah.
yes, and I'm part of a cult called the Juggalos that like
Mhm.
Insane Clown Posse. When I was like uh 10, 11, this was like my thing. And I always like to reflect on why did I join this group? What was it? And they
Mhm.
have this song called We Belong,
Mhm.
which I really like too. And then like just me kind of looking back throughout my life of it's like I didn't belong. I always felt like the black sheep or and this gave me a sense of belonging. So I always kind of like to look at my own life and what what draws me into why would I want to join like a group, right? Away from like who I am. And then we have this
So
epidemic of
disenfranchised people are susceptible,
mm,
right? And like you said with the rats, um, they also did another study with the rats in relation to like getting addicted. Don't skip slides. I want to see these. Um,
oh, okay, sorry.
to heroin. And so they figured out that if you gave a rat the drug, yes, it's gonna like drug itself to death. But if it was in an environment where it had like lady rats and baby rats and like things to do, then it wouldn't kill itself with the drug. So if the more like normal support in its rat life it had, it would leave the hard stuff alone and be healthy.
And I learned like this importance of the rat studies from Alex back in like 2012 type time, maybe 2008, how when they do scientific research on like rats in the lab, like we are so much like them
Mm.
that it affects us pretty similar to like what happens with them. So I thought that was interesting. And then I wanted to point out too, like not all these leaders like are bad, like up there. I like John C. Maxwell. I don't know if you got dirt on him, but I like his leadership and it just so much different. I like Michael Scott's leadership. Um,
Somehow
it,
I manage.
somehow I manage.
Yeah. By Michael Scott.
Yes. And so I just wanted to point that out too. And this was sort of some of more of the rat studies stuff as
Yeah, the
well.
beautiful ones. Yeah, the well-groomed but socially inactive. So the internet and the social media atomizes us to the extreme, and then it scoops you up because now you're disenfranchised from the people around you, and from the normal people that can help you keep your feet on the ground. And it just funnels you into these weird fringe groups that suck your money and turn you into a completely different person.
Yes. And
Non-functioning person a lot of times.
I know I got so many slides, so we could
That's
always
okay. That's okay.
part
We got
two.
time. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay. And so I wanted to look at what are these podcasts because I don't listen to many people.
Mhm.
I listen maybe to four different podcasts, and like I pretty much know the people that are doing the podcast, and then I go to reading the books as well. So I was like, okay, who are the top podcasts? And it's like all about what Jordan Maxwell would talk about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right?
Well, that's
Then
what mystery cults are good at. Music, mind-altering drugs, and orgies.
and like the top podcast. So if anybody's judging me for being a juggalo, look at the freaking
Hey, I like
top
that song,
podcast.
Miracles.
Miracles, how do they
Yeah.
work? And that's
Fucking
the
magnets, how do they work?
yeah, and they're in the show The Office
Uh-huh.
as well. They're like on the poster. So I
Uh-huh.
thought that's weird. But the top podcast, this is what people are into, but they're into like reality. Like they're like fictional. This is like the top podcast where they dive deep into the serial killers. Those are like the top podcasts. So,
Mhm.
um, and then yeah, it just kind of strange. And then here is the
Kaikion,
symbols
that's it. Yeah.
of the wheat. What is it?
Kaikion?
Pychion,
Yeah.
the psychoactive brew, as in the case of the Eleusinian mysteries.
Yep.
And so this is super important to these cults, is they're all just tripping and going nuts.
Hmm.
And the
You tripping.
yeah,
Yeah.
they tripping. But
Girl, you in a cult. Girl, you tripping.
and like
I'm gonna write an R&B song. Girl, you in a cult. Girl, you in a cult. I would do anything just to bring you back to reality. It's gonna be like Black Barbershop, Boys to Men. Girl, you in a cult. No, just kidding.
with like all the different musicians, there's a certain type of mind altering chemical that you must partake in to be part of that group. Like whether that's the purple drink or
Yep.
the cannabis or the alcohol or whatever it is, it's like something there. And this is what the mystery cults liked. And I'm very sketched out about the psilocybin pushes. That is all Wall Street Journal, Harvard, like all the top people are telling me to do this. And I don't trust that whatsoever. But here's Adam Weishaupt,
Hmm.
not the great Isaac, but Weishaupt, but Adam. And I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but this is what I've been connecting like the wheat thing to,
Yeah.
because this is always on their emblems. And they would do the ergot. And then down here's the Eleusinian mystery. So that's like a big importance.
Yes, the sheaves of wheat can be found all over Washington, D.C. And if you watch my new show in the members section here on my YouTube channel about this secret architecture of our nation's capital.
Ooh, love that book.
Yeah, so I broke down that book in a giant um, analysis, and they were attempting to build archaeology or architecturally the body of a goddess. And what this guy is talking about is that probably Ceres or Demeter, who you know is the god of grain and the star of the Elusinian play, the mother god.
The forward to that book brought me down a rabbit hole for like the last 4 years, because they talk about the importance of the date August 10th for the heliacal rising of Sirius.
Hmm.
And August 10th is when like huge events go down. Jeffrey, that's when he got put in witness protection.
Hmm.
Robin Williams. This year, it landed on August 11th when Hulk Hogan's birthday was. And this is when President Trump declared a crime emergency in Colombia, right, in National District of Columbia.
Hmm.
I think that this date is super important because of that book, because that's where Albert Pike dedicated his star map, his astrology room, to this date and the day centering upon it. So that brought me down a whole 4 or 5 year rabbit hole looking
Wow.
at, yeah. Um, and then the autokinetic effect, where they've done these studies. I know this is trippy. I won't keep it up for long, but looking at this is sort of an image of what like autokinetic kind of is.
Hmm.
The autokinetic effect is that when people are alone, they'll make different decisions, but when they're in a group, the conformity, they'll be influenced by the social group, like the social media, where people will conform. And then even after they conform and they leave the group and they're alone, they'll stick with the group's answer in these studies. And I think that is sort of important, because we hear these terms getting ratioed, like as if that was a good thing, that the crowd and the group is correct, and that these social media influencers they're really like leaning on this herd mentality, this herd theory of you are ratioed because we have the crowd. We have she's a witch, or I got here with the Monty Python, or the Frankenstein of the crowd, or the Gustav Le Bon
And
crowd.
not only is getting ratioed important to them, they will pay for it. So you can buy follows, likes, subscribers, people who will comment what the talking points that you want them to comment to make you feel like you are in the minority when it's just a bunch of wackadoodles that paid a Chinese bot farm to harass you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So like what's the reality of and I think this is also part of the Hegelian dialect
Hmm.
for the new internet because of the article of Time magazine of the orb will see you now where they want to you every time you have to click are you a robot? And so like the way out of that would be to scan your iris and get your iris code and you'll get $42 in crypto.
Hmm.
Uh,
And
so I off topic, but
well, I was just thinking another parallel is paywalls of things. So you have to be initiated in these things by sacrificing and giving money and stuff. And then a lot of these people also have their like revelation behind a paywall.
yeah, and that's like the biggest like connection to these like cults, right?
Hmm.
Is we have the secrets, and if you want to, I always say unlock the secrets.
Yes, unlock them. Gotta unlock.
Yes, but there's like this micro
Yeah.
macrocosm too of the world as a culture, like the cult. And moral superiority is something that I've noticed as well. But this is funny. The cult of the deified king in Ur,
Hmm.
and the Kolch and the I read this in this Masonic thing, and I thought that I've never heard of before.
Hmm.
Like you got Media, the Medes, and then the cult of the codename Namu is the oldest known surviving law codes. And then here's a picture of Namu with like these three, they look like women, three women, and I just thought of like the symbolism of like Charles and the three women, even though he had four, but three got in trouble. But who knows? Like
Hmm.
I get, you know. Um, and then cult, like the word comes from like the care, sort of, like
Uh-huh.
so it changes throughout time. And this
Influencer Lord, yes.
influencer as Lord.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so the Lord's bondsman dialectic, master slave dynamic, where what part do we play in this? And that's the cool thing. I was trying to read as much as I could to explain this, but I'm definitely it's out of my pay grade. But there's also healthy relationships as well with like a leader and like a follower, where so there's like healthy uh, stuff as well, where they both are playing a role in it. And then I just showed Dominate Your Market with Grant Cardone, just because Grant Cardone is part of the Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, and the volcano and the pyramid. I know it's kind of, I just like
Wait,
there's an episode.
go
Yeah,
back to
go ahead.
one more.
Sometimes I get lost in like cool.
Influencer is Lord, Master, Slave. Oh, so in relation to narcissism, okay, so a lot of you fans are actually being narcissistically abused by your influencer and you don't know it, and they use you as what they call flying monkeys. I don't know if you're aware of what that means. So it's like comes from Wizard of Oz, like the Wicked Witch sends out her flying monkeys to do her bidding. So a narcissist with enough support will send out their little generals or lieutenants and what they call flying monkeys to bother people to get them in trouble with the law. Lawyers, a team of lawyers could be that. But if you see a influency cult person with a lot of flying monkeys, that's a red flag, when you say.
Absolutely. And this also happens in real life too. And it's just super scary when like it happens to people. And it's not fun, but they use it on purpose. And this narcissism, a lot of people don't understand what narcissism is because everyone throws it out there. And there's like even like cults of like these podcasters who are like the narcissist that,
Yeah.
really stuff. And they don't even really understand what that is and the narcissistic supply of the likes and yeah, the flying
That,
monkeys thing is the cult, and that's what I'm scared of is the freaking the cult. When like the lockdowns happen, I wasn't really scared of all the different tanks. I was like, all these people are screaming at me. They're like irrational
mhm.
and emotional, and like, yeah,
That's how you can tell somebody is sinister and narcissistic when they just say things that they know will enrage people because there's no such thing as bad attention to a narcissist. There's only attention,
absolutely,
right? So
absolutely.
if you wake up in the morning and think, what is the thing I could tweet that would piss off the most amount of people to get all that attention or that loosh or that supply, as you would call it, that is a narcissist.
And and this is so crazy, like the narcissism with social media and the influencers, because if I'm doing something like, oh, I'm positive, yeah, and I get a lot of likes, a narcissist will just double down on that. And I've seen so many different content creators go for what's popular and trending, where the bad behavior gets, they like it. So even if like a normal person is going to be like, I don't want to be seen like as like this bad person, this doesn't feel right.
Mhm.
But that fuels their attention. So they're attention seekers. They need the attention. And yeah, you spot on. Thank you for saying that. Um,
But what's up with
so
Neuralink? Oh no. See,
yeah, well,
see,
I think
Donut,
that
you thought you were gonna get stimulus checks, but you really just got your AI girlfriend, Annie.
I got her pulled up right here. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
So
and
Valentine and Annie is what's coming out of the crack team at Doge.
yeah, and Annie is also an ancient. They always use an ancient god names like the Book of the Dead of Annie.
Mm.
Um, Anubis. Like, so these are like old names that are being used for another reason. And so the reason I brought up this neuro like link sort of stuff is because the AI is going to be a lot of the new influencers. So we see the influencers today, but Annie will be influencing us. So the oracle where it's heading, that'll be the new oracle. We see it with Alexa, ChatGPT going to the AI for the answers or Google it. These different like corporations will be sort of the new Oracle. So I kind of wanted to point that out. And I thought this is weird. Who's Elon marketing this to? And
Veteran,
this a
I'm sure.
guy, a veteran, right?
Yeah.
Probably, but he's got a cross on his hat, which,
Mm-hmm.
and then the old school American flag. Like, so there's like some like it's being marketed to somebody. And here's just some articles just on AI looks a lot like religion, where
Mm-hmm.
AI is like the God.
Okay, slow down because go back and
Yeah,
look
sorry.
to Annie. What was I gonna say about her? Oh, now you can fulfill all of your impure thoughts with your cult leader if you take Annie as your girlfriend or Valentine as your boyfriend. And they thought that this would appeal more to men, but it seems like a lot of girls are getting interested in their AI boyfriend just because he treats them like nice, right? He says the things they want to hear and he does the things that the girls want him to do. So I've heard at least two cases of people like, having a marriage ceremony to their AI lover. And not only that, I mean, this is getting crazy. Like chat GPT psychosis is becoming a real thing because it agrees with you. So not only is it like your Svengali puppet master, it's also turning you into a freaky weirdo because people have never had this type of agreeableness from another like consciousness. Like usually a normal person, like a dude with sisters and a mom is not going to turn into an incel because they're gonna be like, dude, you're being weird. This is how you should treat women. But a guy alone with his Annie is just going to keep reinforcing that and turn him into like a weird, Kanye West or somebody who people don't push back on, and you just become more and more delusional because no one is there to, bring you back to reality. AI is there to pro projectile yeet you into space until you lose, your grip on what is real. What do you think?
I think you're so on point because I'm so grateful to have a little sister, just a year younger than me, because all my friends I meet that are just have brothers, even cousins as well, how weird they were like around my sister or and a lot of them, not all of them, but the I think that the whole the incel stuff, just all the different human needs in life are weaponized on such a deeper way that it's out of my pay grade to fathom
Hmm.
what's going on. But it's definitely one of the biggest parts of for control is this desire for human connection, which goes back into this whole influencer thing, where we want to belong or be heard or seen. And so these emotional needs are being fulfilled, but in reality, life isn't like that. Life is yelling and screaming and crying and happy and joy and laughter. And there's just so much uh, to it as well. So I think that also plays into narcissism too. It's the feelings. So with narcissism, I have a slide. I'll go back, but this was the narcissism book that I really enjoyed of
Okay,
Alexander.
everyone get this book, Narcissism, Denial of the True Self, a groundbreaking study that will relieve hidden anxieties and heal the tension between mind, body, and feelings. Okay, I I had to read a book on narcissism recommended by a therapist because I was gonna lose it. So this is how I know a lot of this stuff and what to look out for because I actually did the workbook um on how to identify these type of people because they will drive you crazy and make you go talk to a therapist.
And sometimes it's too late. So once you're in the therapy office doing all this writing, it's like too late. They've already done their damage.
Mm,
And a big one is kind of seeing their past history of how many like people have they screwed over like in the past as
mhm.
well. But this book, Alexander Lowen, he goes into the emotion part of it. And there's this big push that emotions are like weak. But it's like, no, God gave us emotions. Like I have like a gut feeling, a bad feeling about this. Like that's a good thing that to have that. And then so he kind of goes into what the narcissist does. And it's very tragic for the narcissist because their upbringing, this was how they survived. So there, it's a survival technique that happens with them, but they cut off the emotions. And I think the whole facts over feelings thing too,
Hmm. Hmm.
is always said. It's said in a lot of leadership, like cults
I
too.
know they're saying empathy is a sin now. I don't know if you heard that, but that's a
Wow.
new thing.
So, that what it is like they don't have a self because what Alexander Lowen's talking about is that that is our self is like what do we like? What how do we feel about something? And then the conformity part is let me get rid of that and how can I operate in life like a robot so I can just rise to power. So everything is just about power. Um with them. So I think that it's important to learn it. And this isn't the only guy. There's like a lot of different works on it, and whatnot.
Hmm. Well, speaking of incels and Annie, I know they're in here somewhere. Maybe we can figure out. We've got a couple
Yes.
more of these to
Yeah,
go.
sorry. We could always do a part two. I
No,
always put
I'm
up a
on your
lot of
slides. We're gonna
slides.
get through them. These are really good. Okay,
Okay.
so who is my identity and what is my problem? Oh, peaceful Islamists.
Oh, okay.
What can they not do? Let's see. They cannot. Uh,
You gotta make like a game out of this with the Cards Against Humanity kind of.
they cannot have relationships because of what? Feminism. There you go.
Ah,
It's,
there you go.
it's feminism is in way of Islamists getting together. Who else? I'm looking for incels now. We've got about three or four more of these to go. Americans are
Americans.
Americans is my identity. What
Yes.
am I being stopped from doing? Americans cannot raise a family. These are so random, you guys. I'm telling you, they cannot raise a family because why? Because of DEI.
Mm, it's true, yeah.
So some make sense, some don't. Let's do two more, and then we got two more in a minute. Who am I, and what is my problem? I am a incel. Oh, here we go.
Perfect.
The incels are being kept from what? Getting a job. Incels cannot get a job because what? Black people. Oh no.
Oh,
I don't know. Why the black people don't want incels to have jobs?
they're hustling.
I know.
They're
That's not
hustling
black.
harder.
You need to like let the incels have their whatever job they want. So,
I
okay.
think that this whole incel thing is like a huge part of this like control thing for sure.
Oh, definitely. Because it has just really collapsed romance in the last 5 years, I would say. It's become terminal to Gen Z. You know, Gen Z can't get married because of white women. Um, they can't even relate anymore and they don't even know why. So all you've got all of these influencers saying women are the problem. They're going to take half of your stuff or all of your stuff and they're going to cheat on you with a black guy and leave you miserable. So never get married. And then the women are like, all the men are PEDOs and RAPISTS. It's just like so crazy the dialectics that people like gravitate towards.
Yes, yes. It is crazy. It's like it's freaking nuts. People need to like go out and like socialize. But after tuning into some of these mainstream podcasts, like I'm so happy I'm not like connected into the mainstream because I was listening to the female podcast and what they were talking about,
Hmm.
and listening to the male podcast and what they're talking about, and it's like such uh like a guilt-free kind of society where they have all conformed and they're like all the same. Not to sound like I'm trying to start like they're the ones that are wrong, which probably coming off a little bit like that, but it
Hey, I
it
remember the before times, Donut, when people liked each other in America. Do you remember the before times of the before the internet and before Obama? Like
yeah,
we were
yeah.
having fun, okay? Whitney Houston was a idol. We had no problem with black people. Eddie Murphy, Will Smith, um, they were everywhere. They were Michael Jordan was on every little boy's wall. It's like we all got along.
Mhm.
And within the last 5, 10 years, it's just disintegrated.
It's very strange, like what's going on, that psychological operation, and it's all being funneled through the influencers. Like that's like what it is.
Yeah.
And then this slide right here, I just wrote being watched alters your behavior, and these flying monkeys and the audience effect, where social facilitation is a social phenomenon in which being in the presence of others improves individual task performance. So think about online, like there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to say, because of the audience effect too. So people will like get in line because of the group, the crowd, the cult. And I think that's sort of kind of a cool rabbit hole just to think about with AIs watching everything we do. So not only is the audience watching us, the cult, but also the different algorithms are watching us and studying us and all that. So I don't know. I kind of
Well, well, not only that, being watched alters your behavior, but also feeling like you are a nobody if you have no following. So I think this like translates from high school where if nobody knew you or you're not popular, you're a nobody, no one's gonna remember you, like that kind of fear. And now it's like in the big kid sandbox, if you have a pathetic number of followers like me, like I get down and I'm like I because I don't try to get followers, like I just make art. But I know that a lot of people's self-esteem is all wrapped up in like I have 50K on Twitter, I have 100K or 200K. It's just like that kind of pressure to become a brand, every single person or child or teenager like to have to develop their self and their life into some kind of like money-making brand is a lot.
And if you look at the smartest people, the top CEOs, the richest people, like where you're getting like real information too, you look at their interviews, it's like got 10 views. Like they're no one's watching the real stuff. They're watching like the more views, that's how I know that
Mhm.
it's fake.
They're watching Jerry Springer 2.0.
Mhm.
Right. The Springer squabbles. So it's like even Jay is tired of debating and debate bro culture and all of that because it just devolves. It's never two people coming together in like an academic setting and trying to come to an understanding where both sides are like shaking hands, like, oh, I see kind of like where you're coming from now. It's not like that. It's just a complete Springer squabble, Mexican luchador hitting each other with chairs and like stomping and like diving, like WWF fake stuff.
And also, I've watched debates where I've watched it. I was like, wow, that guy just got crushed. Like, wow, that was great. And then I'll go look at the comments, and the comments are like, the other guy got crushed, and like overwhelmingly majority. And so, like, there's that too.
Yeah, it's just like your football club that you watch your mates have a match and it doesn't matter what the other team says because you're already joined to this team.
And so these slides, this stuff to think about with Heidegger's, like the different relationships that we have with
Yeah.
when we're alone, or when we're with a group.
Yeah, self-worth, was that one of them on there?
So his eigen,
Self
well,
inner world, self world, how you relate to yourself, social.
yeah, and then they're all working together in
Hmm.
this Daizon, I believe. Obviously I'm not wicked smart yet, but these are just things that I want to dive deeper into and learn about.
Uh-huh.
The cult of clout, attention seekers, bad behavior, narcissistic supply, how to manipulate friends and influence people. I've never read this book, but it's all
I've
about power.
I've actually been to a Tony Robbins when I was in my 20s, a whole 3 or 4 day commitment seminar. It was like $1,000 and it was at a movie theater. He wasn't even there. It was just at a movie theater, like
Was
a
it good though?
recording of him at a live thing. It was okay. It was there was a lot of neuro linguistic programming. I didn't know that what it was at the time, but now looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, that's like totally what he's doing. Hypno regression. We had to all go through this like hypno regression and go to hell and back
Right.
in a dark theater. And that was one of the creepiest moments of my life. Like hearing people, they turned off all the lights and he described like, get in your little spaceship and now you're going to hell and everyone's wailing and like gnashing teeth and people are crying and the lights are out and they're like going, oh, like this is
Mhm.
not for me. I did punch through the little block though, like breaking the brick with
Nice.
my mind powers. But yeah, it was,
I went to a leadership thing similar to that as well, and I think that there's a lot of good to it as well, for like breakthroughs.
uh-huh.
And but I also feel like that they're scouting for people there too, like because there's people that just go like, oh, okay, I want to, I want to step my game up, but then there's like people that are like dedicated to it, like that. It's kind of like gets culty.
Yeah, if they have the money, because at that Tony Robbins seminar, they were trying to upsell you to the next, inner circle seminar that's only $500 more. And you actually get to meet Tony Robbins. So if you've got the moolah, then you can, have friends and influence people.
And I'm happy you brought the NLP thing up. And here's the Ass Kickers United of
Uh-huh.
It's Always Sunny, where people uh and when I talk about, I know this could get woo-woo-y, but like feminine and masculine like energy, not meaning like man or woman or anything, just like being a follower is more of a like feminine, and then the masculine would be on stage, like leading the charge. So a lot of these people they don't know that in like these like manosphere movements that they're like super feminine and they're having the strong masculine leader scream and yell at them, because they're the masculine. So it's all like kind of flipped on its head, like the dynamics of who people they think that they're like these like alphas, but really like they're like super in their feminine in a sense. But I know that could get woo-woo-y or whatever.
Oh, no, you're right on. You just made me go to a whole nother place because this whole like man bro masculinity movement, not that there's anything wrong with being masculine as a man, you need to be,
Yes.
but like worshiping of testosterone and like strong boys and uh muscle men is its own cult because they like let's say the Vikings for instance, they had laws against men acting feminine, okay? But it was whatever they said was feminine. So, like, if you didn't want to raid a particular monastery with the Vikings, oh, you're a feminine man, and so we're gonna like kill you now because you had empathy and you like had higher functioning of your brain than just like RAPE, kill and destroy.
And I would say that that empathy is more masculine in a lot of ways, energetically in a sense.
Hmm.
But this is just the cult that I was talking about, the Ass Kickers United cult,
Yeah.
where like they're told to do like these rituals, like you got to put the vitamin C on your head. And like every single online cult, there's like always like a ritual, like you got to drink this piss, and then like you'll
Yes.
so like they're getting us to like do, but it's like this like slow. This episode's great. Like Dennis has like the slow, like you can't alter like the thin mints. Don't eat thin mints, but then they like change it like drastically,
Uh-huh.
and that starts getting the cult. Like I don't know about that. Like, but yeah. And then the workout routines are funny.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect illustration of what we're talking about. And I'm sure you can think of one or two of these fight clubs that we're talking about. And these can actually turn pretty dangerous very quickly. And a lot of these fight clubs are also hooked up to human TRAFF and all sorts of criminal activities and worse stuff that you could even think about.
I took one of the slides down, but it's interesting that the whole entire Fight Club movement, written by the great author Chuck, whatever his name is, Paul
Alan Chunk?
Chuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like his writings. It's obviously good. But people like in the Manosphere, the Red Pill movement, the Matrix, like it's all coming from like same-sex attracted writers.
Yes,
And
I know.
also with the magazine stuff, I probably learned this from you, like in like 2012 or 2014. But like the magazines that they put out there is like so the girls look more like boys because it's the people writing it are like the same. So it's just funny how the most masculine cults of today is being orchestrated to teach you with the $50 membership how to attract a mate. That is all being written by people that are interested in attracting a mate, unless it's the another gender kind of thing. So it's kind of weird.
And the parallels between the cult of Mithras and these masculine cults is not lost on me either. And just the whole idea of eschewing marriage and family life or the traditional way of raising a family, instead have a harem
Uh-huh. Right.
and a dynasty of, bastards. I don't even know what to call them, but
I don't
basic,
understand. Like,
yeah.
how is the incel who can't even lock down one relationship expecting to have a harem? That doesn't make sense.
You'll find out for $50 a month.
Yeah, that's it,
We
right.
will tell you. Uh-huh.
And that's sort of the next slide too. It's
But
just like
like people like me, incels, can't get laid because of the Matrix, right? Send me
Mhm.
money and I'll show you how to protect yourself from gold diggers.
Yeah, and so there's like this long history of going back to like Don Juan, who's like a mystic, right? Going into the mysticism of selling these natural human desires, or not even desires, but needs, that also sort of turns into a lot of cult stuff. And I remember when I would want to watch these videos back in like 2012, um, because wanting like a girlfriend or something, that you could see that a lot of it had like a lot of cult-ish behavior.
Hmm.
And then the social media apps, I had the Bumble app pulled. That's like a dating app, but it's like the B, so it just kind of. But all the other ones at the bottom, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, the book, Secret Teachings of All Ages, kind of goes into the use of color and symbolism. And then down here just showed like white is good and goblins are red. So when I'm looking at these influencers, there's sort of a pattern recognition with their symbols and their icons
Hmm.
of like a same kind of color temperature. And I'm not talking about just like a random like YouTuber or something. I'm talking about people that are interviewing the freaking powerful people in position of government and technology. Like this is not like a little kind of channel. Or they're in conversation, uh, tweeting each other out. They all kind of have the same McDonald's color coding in a sense, with like the red and the yellow. I think that that it goes deeper.
Well, anyone with that X in their name, in their bio now, I feel like is bought and paid for.
An X in there, okay, because I
Yeah, so like they are have professionally aligned with X, like
oh
as a
interesting,
journalist.
interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you're
neurolinguistic programming. Yeah, I had those.
yeah. Well, so the other slide that I removed was they're turning the frogs sus
Hmm.
and the estrogen in the manosphere, and then just wanted to point out the NLP. which has been used for a lot of these different like red pill cults. They use this book as a blueprint.
Hmm.
Paranoid American knows a lot more about the NLP, and just some fun slides of from mystery cults to microphones
Yes.
and how the influencers replaced the oracle.
Look at that tripod. Exactly.
Doesn't it look like it? I
So,
thought it was funny.
yes, the tripod that is teetering over this Oracle of Delphi, which was a fissure in a cave that like burped out noxious gases and stuff that people would breathe in, and then they would have visions and give oracles. The weird thing is that they were right a lot of times. So something in there is working. Another weird thing about this was I think they were called the Pythias. So there was something about the serpentine nature of this cult also.
Yeah. It's so like that's just so interesting. I just thought it looked like the microphone.
It
Um
does. Oh my God.
because I got the microphone, so I was like, that kind of looks like a microphone.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it's
uh,
like, just because somebody can do a podcast doesn't mean their opinion means anything. I mean, not that I'm like wicked smart or anything. Like, I'm no oracle, but um, at least I've read a whole bunch. I've educated myself a whole bunch. I've lived a whole bunch. I've traveled a whole bunch. I've met a bunch of people. I've been offline a whole bunch. So it's like, when you're getting your worldview from people in their early 20s who have lived online and they're narcissistic and they're like controlled by, clandestine people in the shadows, it's like, what are you doing?
when I interviewed Jay, I wanted to go on my Wicked Smart journey. Because like I was very like stuck in this digital silo. And I'm like, wow, I'm getting more subscribers. I don't want to lead people the wrong way. And also it was like a spiritual thing to learn more and continue. And I remember um, I kind of made fun of a lot of the stuff that I was covering and wanted to learn more about espionage and whatnot. And I was getting phone calls from people of like, how dare you go against our beliefs and our cult of this and all this and telling me, and I'm like, okay, so it's kind of interesting. The cognitive dissonance.
Hmm.
But here's a symbol of the Psychological Operations Department in the US: persuade, change, influence, social media influencer. And it's the same like symbol that the Tate brothers choose to use. So I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah,
Symbol.
and he calls himself the talisman, which is a magical thing. I think that's alluding to his partner, his Kabbalist partner who knows the more magical side of what's going on over there at the Tate camp.
Yeah. And then that Kabbalist partner wanted him to read the Frog Book, the Prince's, the NLP stuff
Oh,
too.
did he?
Mhm.
If y'all want to know what we're talking about, you can go watch that show. Me and Tristan Haggard and Jay did last year about the book Clown World. So go look for that.
I've watched that episode like 3 times as well. And I like what Tristan had to say about another cult I was part of with Mac Dre. And with the whole like Thiz Nation, like a lot of these symbols that they were doing were like religious symbols, and they were like pushing different mind altering stuff at that time. So I don't know if he was joking, but I think that he was like onto something.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's like a chess piece too. So the horse is the piece that can move in the L shape, right? And every other piece on the board has to go in one direction, but the horse can like move around like that.
Oh wow. So that's why they use that.
Yeah.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah, you are wicked smart. And so Russell, I'm not dissing him. I'm just showing like symbolism of Dwight Schrute, Russell Brand.
Well, we'll go back for a second.
He
Um,
should be happy that I have him in the same category as
because look at
Schrute.
that down in the corner, you have your wheat. your chaff of wheat there with Obama. Do you see that? Yeah.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Mm. Well,
So,
so the sun symbolism that's around his head as he's like this guru or uh, Dwight as well has the sun symbolism when he took over the office. And then in this Manly P. Hall book, he just showed that symbolism right here of the like sun. And these are just symbols. Symbols doesn't mean that it's bad or good. It's just symbolism that uh, many people use different symbols. Like the Star of David.
yeah.
That has multiple different meanings. And that's the other thing is that there's the exoteric and the esoteric as well. So stories are put into these symbols. And I really like the introduction to the secret teachings of
Hmm.
all ages.
Hmm.
Because it went through all the different philosophies and cults and symbols and I was just like blown away how much I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty humbling when you look at that. So what they're talking about in that Dwight is like the dear leader archetype, the cult leader, the immutable person that you can't go like a Kim Jong-un or somebody like that, right? Which
Yes.
so easily these people could become something like that if their cult gets big enough, they can start to sway political things and you know
Hmm.
become some sort of leader.
And so I really like symbolism that
Oh
shows
gosh, he did.
oh yeah, Mr. Beast with the and he's on a pyramid of money. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but also like who is the real cult leader and going into like Homo economicus where people like you said it's all about how many views how much money that's the real like leader of the people in a lot of ways too the
Hmm.
cult leader could
Hmm.
be that I don't know why I had that oh yeah the rise of digital profits right um what if your favorite influencer was your high priest and you are the sacrifice?
Yeah.
That shout out to ChatGPT came up with that one. But in the secret teachings, it talked about the thoughts that we have, like the prosperity kind of the secrets, the movie The Secret, the laws of attraction, prosperity psychology, willpower building, high pressure salesmanship. And I was like, okay, that's like a huge thing with the bros brotherhood, right? You got all the different bros that it's because it's like bros is brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
Um, and this is I've been to all the crypto events for the last like 15 years, and I enjoyed going to them, but I couldn't. There was very it was very cult like in a lot of ways, and I even told my old boss I was like making fun of him. And he's like, no, this is like what you got to get it. You got. He was right. If I would have just listened to him, I would be sitting pretty right now. But I was like, this is a cult. And that's what I was telling him. So there's like a parallel to both. But so I think bringing up zeitgeist, and this is sort of a theory I've been playing around with in my head. I'm trying to, sorry, I'm moving the screen. I don't want to exit out.
I can't believe you got Mr. Beast doing the triangle manifestation. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, he's a billionaire now. Sorry, I'm like, it's hard to kind of go to, oh, I gotta do this. Okay. Um, so my hypothesis is The Secret came out and it came out right before the Great Recession.
Hmm.
So this film was promoted by the biggest cults, like the Oprah Winfrey cults
Hmm.
and like mainstream. And I really liked this movie when it came out because I was getting beaten up, I was getting into trouble. My life was in ruins. I think I was 17, 18 or something. And The Secret came out, and I remember I like was all bruised up because I wasn't living like honest life. I was screwing people over, my own actions. And this movie came out, and I'm like, man, I am negative, like for sure. And so it really draw something. And my parents were just like they had their own business owners. I was raised my whole life with entrepreneurs and whatnot, small family businesses. And The Secret comes out, and then the recession happens. And I'm like, man, I'm really not thinking positive,
It's
even
all
though
your fault.
it's all my fault.
Yeah.
And this is the same movie Zeitgeist came out, which also, that's where I learned about Jordan Maxwell. And that's why I'm so into a lot of symbology and symbolism. Um, and he was in it. Then part two was like all about socialism and how great it is. But like the movie cover is like the world being locked down. And then we did have the world being locked down. And this
Oh
was a
yeah.
time
Yeah.
where people were going against religion and their belief system that they grew up. Like I was going to temple growing up. And I was like, I'm a man now. I'm 13. I'm not doing this no more. I'm smart, you know?
Uh-huh.
And then I feel like this new movie, the Battle of, I'm not even gonna say it, movie came out right after the lockdowns. I think that was intentional, just like the
Mhm.
Zeitgeist movie.
Mhm.
And even the Tate brothers were promoted by the Google algorithms. They're put on all the top shows. They're all talked about during the time of the most hyperinflation. So it's this hustler culture. So now, okay, I'm not thinking positive. I got to just hustle. And
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
more I hustle, the more jobs I have, the more money I make. It doesn't matter because of inflation. So I think
Mhm.
that this is like sort of like the hypothesis. And then also uh what like Dostoevsky understanding like the psychology of how people are gonna move into stuff, or maybe it was Kissinger. Jay's way more better to talk about that. But I think that this is playing a role.
I definitely see what you're getting at here. So, like in times right before great recessions, you're getting these prosperity messages, and they're telling you that if you are lacking in some way, it's because of your own thoughts. It's because of your attitude. It's because you're not grateful, because you haven't become in alignment with everything you want, right? Because you didn't hustle enough. And they're never telling you the real reason, like you just said, the dollar is losing value whether you hustle or not. Like you can make as many dollars as you want, it's not going to be worth anything if they keep printing them. So, yeah, it's putting all of the onus back on like you. And that's where a lot of people have a problem with, let's say, like Hindu philosophy and like karma and dharma, because there's no like perpetrators or victims. Uh, it's just all in the wheel of Maya.
Wow. Okay. So I'm not too far out there.
Yeah.
And the
I
24
mean,
hour.
I used
Yeah.
to listen to Esther Hicks. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Shout out to Esther Hicks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
like, why am I so broke? And they're like, because you're not in alignment. I'm like, well, maybe there's no jobs to be had in Austin, Texas in 2008. I don't know.
An interesting thing about her, she was supposed to be in The Secret and they removed her from it. So,
Oh, weird.
yeah, she was like smoking a cigarette during it.
Yeah.
Um, so the 24-hour feed as well, Margaret Singer, who ChatGPT also recommended, which I'm like, what, why? That's why it's important to listen to Jamie and read the books because who's programming these, this messaging?
Who's programming the programmers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so this isn't Margaret Singer, like Planned Parenthood singer. This is someone who actually wrote a book on cults and
Mm,
the 6 conditions of thought reform
mm,
is what she called it. And I thought that was interesting. And this came out, I think, in the 90s, her like 6 conditions of thought reform, which
mhm.
sort of reminds me of like the different initiations, the conditions. And she said, and this is before like we had like these channels that are like 20, like just grabbing your attention for like 24 hours, like a day, every single day, 24 hours. Um, she says, control the person, social or physical environment, especially control the person's time. Through various methods, newer members are kept busy and led to think about the group and its content during as much of their waking time as possible. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is freaking the notifications. That's why I got all notifications off on my phone, except
Mm,
for people calling,
hmm.
uh, because of that. Um, and I think it goes into a lot of the fatigue people are having today, is because of the attention switching. So every time there's like a new post or a new something, our attention switches and it stresses us out just a little bit more. So we can't focus. And that's, I think, a big part of this as well.
Uh, Making you ADD even more than we were born with as millennials, right? It's just like exacerbating that multitasking thing that we all have in our brain right now.
And the meditation that I get from laying on the couch and not doing anything and not working and just doing the scrolling,
Oh,
right?
are you serious? Like, that's my favorite time of day. At the end of the day, at least I have TikTok and scrolling for a minute because it really does put you in that, like, is it an alpha state?
Right.
Where you're super relaxed and happy and suggestible. And I don't know about you, but my algorithm, like X hates me, but TikTok loves me. Gives me all the nicest recipes and fashion and skincare and entertainment and jokes. And so I always have a blast on TikTok.
I am just angry every time I go on my phone. It's just, it's, but I'm learning to deal with it. And
I
whole,
have so many people muted on X, and that's how I know if you're a dumbass or not. If I've muted you in the past and then you pop up and say something and I'm like, "Oh, you're muted. I don't trust you."
same thing. Yeah. And like, and I know what, yeah, I feel
But
you.
yeah, so staring at your phone is the new aesthetic not ascetic practice of like, meditating or how monks would pray or something. Now we're just like phone right here.
And my hand just starts hurting. And like, I'm like, like I am.
Dude, I've like burned, not burned like you could tell, but I can feel it hot. My hand is a little bit crispy because I've been holding this phone too long.
I hold the phone, and even there's like I got callus on my pinky, which a lot of people have, where my bone is like getting indented because of how I hold the phone so much. So
Oh
it's like,
no.
well,
Tech,
I think everybody has it like now.
have
But
you seen the projections of evolution of tech neck and like
yeah, I saw it on Silicon
trolls?
Valley.
Yeah.
And then there's just the initiates, like the initiation, like challenges, like
Yeah.
dunk your head in the water, or the ice bucket challenge, or Nicki Minaj's pose.
Didn't
And,
one of these guys make an energy drink that turned out to be like poisonous?
oh, probably they all probably did, but I know Jake Paul's got his energy drink, and um,
So,
so like these are some of the mainstream
speaking
influencers.
of Kaikion, right? The potion that you drink in the mysteries, now they sell their energy drinks.
Exactly. That's what people are drinking is and they don't even know it. Whoops. I'm just trying to zoom in. And just going back to the mystery cult book, Ancient Mysteries and Secret Societies, Part One, antiquity were initiated into these secret fraternities by strange and mysterious rites, rituals, some of which were extremely cruel. So just bringing out the that this isn't like making stuff up. Like these are people go through rites and rituals that were extreme, where a lot of people didn't survive the certain rituals to go to the next level. Um, so it's not like a lot of cultures do
Yeah,
it.
and especially go back again.
Yes.
We were talking about the cult of Sybil, and I don't know if you pronounce it Kybal or Sybil. I just think it's Sybil. But so yeah, castration, immolation, cutting yourself, dancing and whipping yourself into a frenzy. Um, Many of these cults had something in common, which is the sacrifice of a bull, and they even shared the spaces in their temples because it was such a ordeal because you had to sacrifice a bull and then let all the blood drip down on you as a priest. And so at least three different mystery cults had this in common, the sacrificing the bull.
So I'm made a video, not publicly, is very schizo, but from reading this book to do the research, they were talking about this name for the bull sacrifice, Soros Apis. And I
Hmm.
was like, Soros? Like, I know someone named Soros, right?
Oh,
Who
wow. Like
manipulates,
Georgie.
yeah, like that, who manipulated the markets, right? And the
Hmm.
markets are like the bull or a bull run.
Good point.
And I was sort of like, I wonder if there's a connection to the manipulations of a bull market on Wall Street with the bull there. And then there's blood on the streets, like with the different terms. And so I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something there. But
Yeah.
and it's not that the initiations are bad or whatever. Like I was bar mitzvahed, so
Hmm.
that's like an initiation into pretty much manhood, where my parents weren't in control like of my actions. Like now I'm responsible. Um, and then you got the scribes,
Hmm.
which were like the lawyers, the scribes, and then we subscribe, and sub is like beneath, so we're like beneath the shapers of the narratives. So funny kind of stuff. And then the us versus them,
Yeah, exactly.
NPCs, the Matrix, we are the chosen ones, they're the ones that are the zombies asleep, we're awakened. And then there's even, that's why I'm very skeptical. Like there's this one cult that's like a hustle cult called We Work. So it's all about the we, the us
Hmm.
versus them. And then the I am not a number, I'm a person. Famous quote. And so the fear, the amygdala hijack wanted to show that. But it's not just that. I also think a lot of these like new agers who are like, yeah, man, it's all one. It's all one. I think that's also just as manipulative
Yeah.
and dangerous. We're all one, except for that group. Like humankind is so good. Like we're so peaceful. But that group over there, they're bad. It's just
Except for
like,
conservatives. Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
don't you love how they just give an umbrella term that means nothing to anybody because everybody is uh, has thoughts and opinions from a lot of different places. You can't just say that's a conservative and therefore they think XYZ ABC, right?
right,
Or are a liberal, just because somebody is quote unquote a liberal doesn't mean that they hate God and
right,
family and it's just so black and white thinking and it's like they have almost eradicated, we talked about this a little bit, but like theory of mind. So basically the ability to just like put yourself in someone else's circumstances and try and understand why would they make the decisions that they make, right? Nobody can do that anymore.
So yeah, this is it always irritates me when people are these hippie peoples who are selling the solution of like spirituality, and like you look at their own life and their life is like in ruins. They're usually like addicted to a lot of stuff and can't admit it. And like it's just this whole like guru kind of same thing as like the influencers. So there's a large dynamic of different
Yes.
face lords out there.
Yes, the Venn diagram of face lords to gurus is very tight. And I recommend you guys go watch a movie called Kumare, which was a documentary about a guy who knew how easy it is to manipulate people and trick them and become a guru. He just started wandering. I mean, he looked like one. He looks like a Gandhi or something, like an Indian guy. And he just started wandering and he had this like loose philosophy that he started preaching and he got a cult following and he was just doing this for a documentary and he actually like accidentally made a cult.
Yeah.
I'm serious. So go watch Kumare if you don't believe me how easy it is for these peer and gurus. Me and Jay are gonna do a show called Gurus Gone Wild because at the end of the day, all they want is power and touch butts,
Yeah, that's
right?
yeah, yeah. It's all about power, for sure.
And touching butts.
Yeah, and I think that that comes with like the power too, like of just being able to like control as well. It's crazy. And then the doomsday cults is like I think one of the biggest where it's like you got Greta,
Hmm.
that's a huge doomsday cult
Yeah.
of the left, but then you also got a lot of doomsday cults of online that have developed cults.
Hmm.
So I guess this is where that term comes from. Uh,
Gorpians. Have you ever watched Parks and Rec? And there was an episode about the Doomsday cult called the Gorpians.
no, that's
Oh
funny.
yeah, you have to watch that one because every year they're like, today's the day where the serpent's gonna come and blast everyone with the fire, and they're like, okay, yeah, um, yeah. So, but seriously, these people these cults, they can also get engaged in political action, and politicians attempt to mobilize groups for the sake of their career. This should be very easy to understand, and is happening as we speak. In antiquity, you can see graffiti in Pompeii that says, all the followers of ISIS are summoned to vote Helvius Sabius for Aedile, which is just like a city position. But so they're saying like these cults vote this way and these cults vote this way, and I can utilize these different groups for my political career. I can get them to, you know, storm the Capitol if I want them to, or whatever. Uh, and
Yeah,
certain cults of Egypt could be up to 10% of the population, so you don't think that's going to make a big deal politically. And I think you're going to see if there even is another election, who knows what's going to happen in the future, but like these online cults being utilized even more so to get different voting blocks. So, was that all your slides that you had? Because you're back.
yeah. Thank you
Oh,
for
okay.
looking at all the
No,
slides and
those are
your
perfect. Great. I
information.
couldn't have asked for a better illustration of everything I wanted to say. We have two more oppressed victims in our woke matrix generator. So let's see who cannot do. Oh, young men. Young men are prohibited from what? Why? What? It's glued. Dun, dun, dun. They can't overcome addiction.
Mm,
Oh, that's kind of true. Young men cannot quit their video games, their porn, their social media, their pills. Why? Why? Who's stopping them? Single moms.
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
It's, it's all their fault.
Yeah,
So, young men with the
that's hilarious.
PORN is only because of single moms, right? And I know I've heard people say these goofy things somewhere. It's all that, right? And we have
Uh-huh.
one more woke uh matrix. Let's see. Who? Okay. Oh, the gays. Yes. Gays.
Okay, the
They are
gays.
prohibited from so many things, such as what? Having rights.
Mm.
Because why do you think the gays don't have enough rights? Don't it? We're gonna find out. Why?
The straight white males. The
The
patriarchy.
patriarchy! Oh my gosh! How many of these have you heard? How many of these gripes have you
Uh-huh.
have you heard in real life? And I
Yeah,
literally pulled this out of a hat
that's so
at
funny.
random
That's
because
awesome.
you're all so stupid and woke.
Yeah.
So, one last thing we had to discuss what was, oh, the TikTok cult.
Mm.
So as we wind down, I wanted to just remind you guys that cults are ongoing and forever. And this is one you sent me, right? The
Yes.
the 7M.
Somebody sent it to me. So, yeah, yeah. So
So this was called Dancing for the Devil, the 7M TikTok cult. It was on Netflix and it was 3 episodes, and it is about this guy named Robert Shin, an Asian pastor of a evangelical-ish church called Shekinah, which I don't, if you don't know what Shekinah is, it was like the the fire of God. So like in the desert, when a pillar of fire would come and lead the Hebrews through the desert, that would call that the Shekinah.
oh, weird. And his name's Shin. That's a Hebrew letter.
Right. Oh, good point. And like I think it was part of the sacrifice. So like the whatever would happen on the altar, it was like Shekinah. So that's the name of his church. He's the founder of 7M Films, which is also a talent management company. So that's already a weird combination. You've got this charismatic pastor who's also like taking all these young kids and managing their like media careers, dancing, singing, talent, stuff like that. And the Netflix documentary focuses around this one family, and a girl named Miranda Derrick and her sister who were dancers. So they were like a really close family. And this doesn't plug into the formula we were talking about because they were a very tight-knit family. Mom, dad, still married, nice sister, like, and was still pulled into this cult to the point where she ghosted her family, cut off all ties, was all in this weird cult. And so what this guy would do, Pastor Robert, he would have these super long Bible studies, right? And he would have these things called sinner parties where they would like lay hands and speak in tongues. And this girl was saved by him. Did you watch the thing?
I did not.
Oh,
No.
okay. So
So
I'll
I,
just tell you
yeah,
real quick. Because artistic people are like perfect prey. They are usually very creatives and neurodivergent, whatever you want to call it. They're in their creative head a lot, right? And so they're good victims for because they usually have not a lot of money if they're just starting out being a creative. They're usually desperate and insecure because, artistic people, showmen, they love that audience praise. So this is how Pastor Robert got all of these kids, broke, desperate, insecure, talented kids. And the church services, now this was the weird part, they were invitation only.
mm,
You couldn't just like visit Pastor Robert's church on a Sunday morning. It was very culty. Um, he said that you had to shut out your family, and he called it dying to yourself. He said you have to cut off everything to be saved, and in that way, you will also save your family. So, by joining his teeny tiny little cult is the only way to heaven. And if you have contact with your family, you're putting them at risk because you're the only one who could win salvation for your whole family through his cult. And he got all these kids believing this, right?
I
So,
could see why just from listening to these mainstream podcasts. Like I could see like the thoughts that how people are talking and the subjects that they're talking about. Continue. Wow.
yeah, so the girl that joined the cult, her sister is like pleading with her, talk to me, come home, visit us, anything. She goes ahead, the cult sister goes ahead and gets married to another guy in the cult. And they don't talk to their parents either. So now all these parents are getting together and trying to figure out like how do we get our kids out of this? They're connecting the dots. He also is playing up the whole diversity angle. Like he's wanting the black guys to marry the white girls and the black girls to marry Hispanic guys and just like kind of like mixing a lot. So he's encouraging all this. He has everybody in the church service sign NDAs so they can't talk about it. So he's very like we said, charismatic. He almost preaches like a black preacher. Like, you know how they have that like presence and the cadence and the Lord said it like revivalist style. So this Asian guy is preaching like a black guy, but he's preaching like all these heretical, weird ideas. And of course, he was the only one with the true message of salvation. He has his lieutenants, like we were saying, his inner court. Any cult leader has to have his generals. He's got those. He thought he could heal people. That's another like classic cult leader. What else? It was about a lifestyle of obedience and submission. Surprise, surprise. So how many of these like face lords talk about submission all the time and obedience, right?
It's like
Um,
a playbook that
eh,
works.
I mean, it's literally like a mathematic formula that you plug in and you just get the results. So what else? Submit to your mentor, he says. There was an environment of tattling, so a lot of, reporting, hall monitor behavior. Um, if you want to get close to the man of God, who was this Pastor Robert, you had to give him massages. So
That's
this
pretty,
is getting Jeffrey
yeah.
territory, right? He
Mhm.
put the young kids to work and he would take their money. They had multiple businesses. He had real estate. He had finances. When his own daughter left the church, he said, "Who gives an F? No one will remember you." Literally everything they do at this church is for social media. There's a lot of touching butts going on. Auditioning. Oh, here's another. He was auditioning women for the role of woman of God, which was his girlfriend or his wife, his partner. So he was auditioning all these young women, and in the meantime, he's essaying several young girls, promising to marry them and not doing that. He says everyone pays the price, and he is allowed to have mistresses like King David. They have to work hard to not go to hell. Spending time with Pastor Robert is purifying them, and the demons would come out. So here's another guru gone wild tactic. My magical phallus is going to heal all of your problems if you allow me to put it inside of you. And the crazy thing about this is like none of this stuff is illegal. I mean, other than essaying minors. It's not illegal to dupe people, to make a cult, to make crazy Christian claims, to make sci-fi Gorpian tales, Scientology. Like none of this is all legal in America. And
And
the
it
way,
doesn't have to pay property tax either. I think if you have a cult with more than three people,
uh,
some tax benefits to it, like loopholes. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true.
yeah, so I mean, I'm sure he was some kind of like church status where he didn't have to pay, but basically giving him massages was a privilege. That's how he coerced him into the SEX. And then in July 2025, surprise, surprise, he was raided by federal authorities. The investigation into SEX trafficking, money laundering, mail fraud, tax evasion, and COVID-19 pandemic fraud. So there's another guru gone wild, cult leader, woke extraordinaire, weirdo. What do you think?
I think that you said it's a dancing cult, right?
Yeah. So mostly like making dance videos for TikTok.
Because I really enjoy watching the different dance videos. So it's interesting how they know what people kind of like want. Like my algorithm just dance videos, because I don't know how to dance. So I watch, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like people in New York, and like little do I know that this is probably some sort of cult.
Well, not that there's anything wrong with dancing, but dancing is part of ecstatic worship of, gods of antiquity, especially voodoo, which this one talks about. So certain gyrations, dance move, drum beat, stuff like that are meant to allow your spirit to open up so that it can inhabit this particular Loa or god of voodoo. So there's that. There's so much more to talk about, but we are going on almost 3 hours and it just flew by. And you did so good. You did
Thank
better
you.
than I ever could have dreamed. All of your slides were perfectly illustrative of what I've been talking about. And I hope you will come back with me in the near future. Maybe we can talk about Dionysus and some crazy stuff. And you put a post on YouTube about like a butthole thing. Not YouTube.
Oh yeah, the portals, the
Yeah.
Lions Gate but bunghole portals.
Okay, next time it's Dionysus and bunghole portals because I also know a little bit about the tunnels of Typhon and
Oh,
the
I want
butthole
to know
portals.
about that.
So not
Yeah,
personally, but yeah,
well,
academically I do.
it's super connected to. It sounds so funny and silly, but the truth is stranger than fiction.
Indeed,
I'm
indeed.
so grateful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Jamie, for this has been awesome. I'm so grateful
Yeah.
for
Thanks for
God
playing
bless
my
you.
game and bringing all your great information and your awesome self and your wicked smart commentary. Everyone, go check out Donut. Where on YouTube?
Yes, on YouTube, Donut, Doenut.
Doenut. And I'm waiting for my Paranoid American t-shirt that looks awesome. So maybe I'll go check my PO box and one will be in there. So everybody, have a good night and look forward to the next time with Donut. Bye.